Right, hello everyone, welcome to this video. It is Thursday the 4th of December, but we are going to go over the gold trade from Wednesday the 3rd of December. So we're just going to do a breakdown. I'm also just going to cover the other pairs as well. So on gold on the daily, what I essentially seen was we have this daily fair value gap here. As you can all clearly see, we're still respecting that daily fair value gap as well. So I was using this as my high time frame key level, and I know on Monday we swept this high here, but because we swept this high and had a pullback, I was just expecting a continuation from the daily fair value gap basically. And then if we go to the 1 hour, what I seen was we inversed this bearish fair value gap, like so. Let's do that for blue for now. And we had a nice stop run here. So what I was expecting is this Tuesday low at 3 PM UK time, I was expecting that to be the low of the week and then to push higher. And obviously it could still be the low of the week right now because price has just traded down into this area again. So there is every possibility this can still be the low of the week. And then from there, we had this 1 hour fair value gap. I know it's a little bit messy, so I'm just going to delete the grey box because the grey box is daily fair value gap. So this is all inside the daily fair value gap. So we had the 1 hour inverse fair value gap, and on the 1 hour we had the bullish fair value gap. We then had a stop run into the bullish fair value gap, and then we traded up higher from here. And on the 15 minute, if you look at here, during New York session we made a stop run here, like so. We created an order block with this down close candle. We then created a propulsion block. Obviously this is all inside the 1 hour fair value gap, and then we traded up higher after retesting it. And I wanted a bit more confirmation before entering after this propulsion block. Normally I would have entered like so, and we could have just aimed for the high here and got a 2.2 hour, but I thought I'd be a bit more patient and wait for some more confirmation. So I waited for a closure above this 15-minute fair value gap, which then we entered on the closure, and I got filled in here on my order. And then I really liked how we closed on the hourly, because on the, let me just delete all these. On the 1 hour, we closed above this 1 hour bullish fair value gap. As you can all see, we had a really nice closure. So yes, we ended on the 15-minute, and the reason I ended on the 15-minute was because obviously it was New York session, and if we're following the rules, on the rules it says we can enter on the 15-minute during New York session, and the hour close was perfect as well. And then obviously we got stopped out, and when we were in the trade, I was watching the 4 hour mainly for the body closures, because on the 4 hour, if we closed above this down close candle here, this would have been a 4 hour propulsion block, because we had a stop run, we had an order block form after closing above this down close candle. We then traded into this down close candle, and if we closed above these, it would have been a propulsion block. But as you can see, we didn't get the closure above, so no propulsion block was formed. So maybe I could have manage the trade better. And when I seen this 4 hour closure on the next 4 hour, just closed for 0.5% risk, because this clearly shows it's a stop run of this 4 hour high here, and that it increases the chances of going lower. But obviously I didn't do this. I left the trade open, and as you can see, we did eventually get stopped out. And I did think when we got back up here, I thought, okay, we're gonna invert and go higher now, because we didn't get a body closure below this 1 hour inverse fair value gap. So yeah, that was the trade breakdown. The good thing about this trade is we followed all the rules. We obviously waited till Wednesday. We had London reversal. We waited for 15-minute confirmation, 1 hour confirmation. Sometimes this is just what happens. It's not like previous weeks where I've broke all my rules or not followed some rules to enter this trade. This was literally all the rules followed to the T, to the maximum. We had everything there. We had hard time frame, key level, we had stop run, we had change in order flows. Like, we had everything there for a trade. It just seems worse at the minute, because obviously we are in a bit of drawdown, which you all know by now. But the thing is, the more we follow our rules, the quicker we'll get out of drawdown. Like this week now, we've took one trade. Normally by this point, on the first week for every month, I'm normally 2-3 trades in. So even there alone, to me personally, I see that as an improvement, because we're trading less, which means we're basically risking less. So yeah, I'm happy with this loss. I know some of you may be thinking, oh, that's weird, like, why are you happy with a loss? I'm happy with a loss because we followed the plan. And if you follow the plan, there's nothing else you can do about it. And that takes me on to EU and GU. Obviously, I will cover this more in the weekly review stream on Friday. Obviously, I just marked this up. I'm not in any trade, do not worry. Just looking potentially, which I'll explain in a moment. So if we go to the 1 hour on GU, as you can see, we did have a stop run on Tuesday, but look when it occurred, 6 p.m. And then obviously by the time we woke up yesterday, 8 a.m, we're already up here with expanded loads. So what I was hoping for was a pullback and then we continue long again, but as you can clearly see, that didn't happen. If we go to EU, obviously on Tuesday as well, there was a lot of chop here, as we went over during in the daily charts on Tuesday. Obviously had a stop run, then here again, out of session at 6 p.m, it formed a nice trade. We had a stop run here, but obviously I wouldn't have entered, like I mentioned, because of the daily expansion on the daily time frame. But one thing that is catching my eye right now is where we currently are on DXY. So if we look where we are on DXY, I covered this in the weekly outlook as well. So this is a week low on the weekly, inside a weekly fair value gap plus the weekly propulsion block. So right now we have taken out that low and tapped the weekly propulsion block. And on the daily, if we close back inside this range, and if this weekly candle closes back inside this weekly fair value gap, this could potentially be a low and we trade it higher. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is a low for the rest of the year or whatever. We need to wait for price to develop first, because there's probably a high chance that today we form a bearish fair value gap anyway. So tomorrow, going into next week, we could reject the daily fair value gap and go lower. But what I was looking at on the hourly, if we get a closure back within the range, obviously we took these lows here, took this low as well, basically the triple lows. If we get back within the range on the hourly and start to form some structure, this could be a potential TGIF profile. Obviously it looks like a Tuesday high of the week currently, but then it could also be a Wednesday low of the week. But right now there is nothing to do. And what I was looking at on XAU is we obviously came into this weekly order block, and I was just basically just marking up to see if we can get back within this weekly fair value gap, which will be interesting to see if we do or not. Because obviously, as you see, we touched the weekly order block, which I just highlighted. We did have a 15-minute stop run here, then we have broken down, and now we have had this stop run. But for me personally, there is nothing to trade right now. But if we can get back in here inside the weekly fair value gap, and the same on DXY, it sets us up for potentially next week continuing the move lower. But right now there is nothing to do at all. We just have to be super patient, sit on our hands and just wait, because there is nothing to do at all. But yeah, that's basically the gold breakdown and a quick market outlook, and how we missed the trade, but we didn't miss any setups because there was no setups there to be taken. It's just part of the game. But the main thing we've got to do is just follow the rules. But if you guys do have any questions, please do let me know, and I'll cover them in the chat or in the next video we do. But for now, I'm just going to be waiting for New York session to see what presents to us. But until then, trade safe, have a good day, and speak to you all soon. Thank you.